Good morrow, lovely little ghosts. In every generation there is a chosen one. She alone will stand against the vampires, the demons, and the forces of darkness. She is the Slayer, but this is Lara, and you're watching her Buffy the Vampire Slayer inspired series.
Good morrow, my lovely little ghosts, and welcome to the Dark Orchard. I'm Laura, and it's Buffy Slay Day. As I said in my intro, this is Buffy Slay Day. More specifically, the day that this video goes up, March 10th, is the 24th anniversary of Buffy the Vampire Slayer airing on television. Now, because Buffy the Vampire Slayer is by far my favorite television series ever, like top of the list, I of course need to do a video for it, especially since the 10th falls on a Wednesday this year. So, for Buffy Slay Day, I'm going to be transforming myself into Vampire Willow. So, here are some reference images of Vampire Willow. First we have the fuzzy pink sweater, and then we have Vampire Willow in her leather outfit. So I'm going to be joining the Bumpy Forehead Club, and I'm going to be doing the Vampire Willow makeup to the best of my ability. Of course, as we've discussed before, and we'll most likely discuss again, can't do contacts because they just won't work with my eyes. But I will be doing the makeup portion, so without further delay, let's get started. But first, a message from James Marsters. James Marsters.
Hey Lara, this is James. What a great thing to be doing, a cosplay as Willow, and put it on YouTube. There's been a couple of virtual conventions, and I've tried to get people to cosplay for them, but I can't do it. And I always thought it's just one of the most fun things to do when you're indoors is go ahead and cosplay and share it with people. So good on you. I love to cosplay. I used to cosplay as Spock. I've been cosplaying ever since. They call it acting, but basically it's the same thing. It's just, like I cosplayed as Spike for 7 years and they filmed it. It's just that I had 300 people helping out so that they made the cosplay look really, really good. But good on you, man. I'm sure you'll make a great Willow.
Well, what can I say to that except that I hope I make him proud with my Willow makeup. Be sure to tag him on Twitter when this video comes out. I'll put his @ on the screen here. So now, let's jump into that Vampire Willow makeup. One thing I always loved about Vampire Willow versus Willow, hold up, put on the brakes, flip it in reverse. We're going to stick a pin in that, the thing that I always loved, stick a pin in it because we're actually going to talk a little bit about Vampire Willow. For those of you that don't know, for those of you that have not watched these episodes of Buffy, there's an alternate reality where Willow is a vampire, and it's super cute, and I love that character so much. Everything about her, I both wanted to be her and be with her. She was just gorgeous and stunning and just so So Vampire Willow is one of my absolute favorite Buffyverse characters. So why not try to transform myself into Vampire Willow? When I was in high school, I actually tried to make her leather outfit. However, I bought the wrong leather and I wasn't as good with patterns as I am now, and it just turned out terrible. But I tried. I tried very hard. And of course, I'm wearing the sweater that I threw together the night before GalaxyCon for the Buffy the Vampire Slayer musical that Pineapple Shaped Lamps did at GalaxyCon. Pineapple Shaped Lamps is an amazing improv group. If you've never seen them perform and you get the chance to when conventions are a thing again, definitely go see them because they are just hilarious. One of the funniest improv groups I've ever seen, and they did a reenactment of the Buffy musical while we watched the Buffy musical. It was fantastic. But that's a little bit off topic. Now we're going to pull that pin back out, and I'm going to talk about my favorite thing about Vampire Willow. Now, Vampire Willow, in contrast to Willow, Vampire Willow wore eyeshadow, and she wore green eyeshadow. And it always caught my eye, because it was just an absolutely beautiful green in contrast to her beautiful red hair. So, we will be getting to the green eyeshadow. However, I believe that the first thing I need to do is the bumpy forehead prosthetic. So for the Bumpy Forehead Club, I have acquired Le Bumpy Forehead. This is a bumpy forehead prosthetic that was purchased for that same con, the Galaxy Con, which I believe was 2018? That was a long time ago, I guess. But anyway, it was purchased for that. Never got to use it because I was in a rush when I was getting ready and didn't do this. But I have it now. And if you want to see a fantastic Vampire Willow cosplay, check out Don't Touch My Milk. I'll put their @ here as well, but Don't Touch My Milk is one of my favorite SFX cosplayers, and I actually got a picture taken with them. I will pop that picture in here if I can find it. That was the night of the Buffy musical, and it was so much fun, and the whole reason I did the pink sweater Willow was so that I could see Don't Touch My Milk in their Vampire Willow outfit as well. So with that being said, I have acquired Bumpy Forehead, and I will be applying Bumpy Forehead prosthetic. It's very high quality. I believe it came from Mostly Dead. I'll post the link down below if it's still available. If not, I'll still post their link because they're such a great prosthetic store. I really do love it though because it has so much texture to it. Like the lines and textures. Very easy to work with. But enough of the talking and the praising and the everything. Let's get to the Bumpy Forehead. So my first action is actually to put some glue stick over top of my eyebrows. I cannot find my Vaseline, so glue stick will have to do. Ooh, that's cold. And you know, if my liquid latex pulls out some hairs, it won't be the first time. Then I'm going to grab a cotton swab. And of course, my trusty liquid latex. I know. You don't even need to say it. I know I should be using Prozaid. But I'm just so attached to my liquid latex. So just ignore it. And I'm going to put liquid latex all over the edges of this prosthetic. And I need to do it fairly quickly because it's going to dry. It's such a large prosthetic, so I don't want it to fully dry and then not be able to apply it. Alrighty, now to the forehead it goes. And these usually go over the eyebrows, so I'm going to try to position it in the right spot. Put the brow where the brow goes, put the nose where the nose goes, while simultaneously avoiding getting latex in the hair. Lots of factors to consider here. Well, that is a very bumpy forehead. No, that's what I said I needed to avoid. Alrighty, I had to stuff some tissue paper up in this little area because it's not fit for my face, and apparently it's made for a larger nose structure. So instead I just stuffed some tissue paper up in the nose part to build it up so that I could blend it down into the nose. Now that it's applied, I'm going to let it dry for a minute, and then I'm going to put foundation on it. I'm going to be using a full coverage 24-hour foundation from Maybelline in the shade Natural Ivory. I did a little off-camera work because the corners were not blended and they looked kind of weird, and it was obvious that they looked kind of weird. So now I'm just going to take a smaller brush and do some foundation around the edges. Alrighty, my forehead's very bumpy now. So step number 2 is to go in and carve out some of those details with a contour. So I'm just going to be using a brown, this brown to be specific, to go into those creases and define them a little bit more. Okay, just because I feel like it, now I'm going to change my lipstick And I'm going to be using Missy and Ferris by Wet n Wild. And then I'm going to top it with Medusa's Makeup Cherry Pie. Alrighty, I'm going to go back into that contour and contour the nose bit. Just dragging that all the way down. Now for my favorite part of Vampire Willow, the green eyeshadow. First, I'm going to use this foresty green. Then I'm going to use the shimmery green up here in this corner. Then for eyeliner, I'm going to use the NYX Jumbo Pencil in the color White. And then very carefully, I'm going to apply mascara. Okay, and my last bit of contour is going to be on my cheekbones. And just to make the lips pop a little extra, I'm going to add some gloss. Alrighty, now I'm a member of the Bumpy Forehead Club. This prosthetic does have its flaws, especially in the nose area, but it can be fixed with like some tissue and some more blending. I kind of jumped ahead putting my foundation on. I should have looked at the prosthetic more and added some tissue where it needed to go first, but that's all in hindsight. I didn't think of that, and now I have a prosthetic with some imperfections, but it's okay because I can always try it again. I've always wanted the bumpy forehead from the Buffy vampires, and even though this is slightly more exaggerated than the typical Buffy bumpy forehead, it is still so awesome. Like, to me, this looks really cool. I just wanna So flaws aside, I think I did Vampire Willow justice, and I think that James Marsters will be proud. I would totally wear this to a convention. I think it's really fun, and it really didn't take that much time to do. I'm super glad that I did this for Buffy Slay Day. So even if I don't look like Vampire Willow, I still feel like I look like a Buffy Vampire extra, because they would go a little wonky with those prosthetics and really pay attention to the main vampires. Spike, Angel, Drusilla, and in this case Willow. But all of the like one-off vampires would have the really exaggerated foreheads and look a little more funky. Even Luke, who was a recurring vampire character, had a very pronounced brow, and this prosthetic is a very pronounced brow. So even though it's not completely like Vampire Willow's prosthetic, it's still a Buffy vampire prosthetic, and it makes me very happy because, like I said, Buffy is my favorite series ever. So this video is sort of a part 2 to my Buffy series. I started this Buffy series and there's one other video with it. It's me counting down my top favorite Buffy episodes. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. I'll link that at the very end of this video. For the comments down below, tell me who your favorite Buffy the Vampire Slayer character is, or tell me who your favorite Buffy vampire is. And if you don't talk to me about that, talk to me about something, because I love for you to talk to me down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come around again soon. Say bye. Bye!